Hello, I'm Steve. A little about myself. I'm a retired law enforcement officer with 20 years of service. I began my career in the jail, worked the road, and became an investigator. During my career, my training consisted of everything from SWAT to becoming a state certified crime scene technician. I've investigated crimes from thefts to homicides. After retiring and becoming aware of true crime and web sleuths, I started my channel for web sleuths to better understand the perspectives of law enforcement. Not only do we cover true crime, I go out into the field and assist families who have lost loved ones to homicide and their cases are considered cold. Join me as we look and bring attention to these critical cases.
Hello, everyone. Glad you're able to join us tonight. If you're new to the channel, thank you for being here. Welcome. Normally, what happens, I'll have a very short, on the morning watch, we have a very short presentation. We're going to be talking about is the Delphi with Richard Allen, is he a lone wolf or is he part of a pack, or there all these tentacles that are addressed? But after the presentation, and I'll be going through the chat and be answering questions, a little bit different, a little bit less structured on the morning watch. We have a special crew of people on the morning watch that I enjoy spending my time with. We start with true crime and we wind up somewhere in the Waffle House, probably in the next 10 minutes. But thank y'all for being here. Respect the mods, respect each other, and respect the families. And I appreciate y'all being here tonight. So let's see what, let's get in, say hello to a few people first, and then we'll get with the presentation here. Yvette, good to see you. I love marbles. Excellent. Jamie, good. Leah, Southern Gal, Tracy. And we got Lee. Let's see here. Get this thing going. Sleuth's in the house tonight. Thank you, Sleuth. I was honored tonight. Sleuth had me on his channel for his members only. Highly recommend y'all go over and check him out. Appreciate everything that had a great conversation tonight with him. And very entertaining, and I enjoyed my time over there with his members. Dave's in the house, so I know with Dave in the house, we're going to be talking about Waffle House, no doubt. Hello, Jill. Good to see you, Tracy. And there's Deb or Debbie. Good to see you. SP74. Your first morning watch. Oh my goodness. Layla, good to see you. Julian, WO22, Clicker AK from Alaska. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I ever had anybody from Alaska. Dwayne's Prospecting Adventures, always good to see you. Jinx and Jocelyn. With that being said, let's go look at the what we're going to be talking about tonight. And of course, if you have any information regarding this case, absolutely make sure that law enforcement is aware of that, for the fact that Libya Nabby deserves justice. And of course, we have the offender charged, Richard Allen. And there's a lot of speculation out there, large part due to some of the information that's been shared by law enforcement and the prosecutor, that there's tentacles and possibly other actors. And what does that mean? Are some of these actors pre-crime, such as possibly supplied or presented information of Libya and Abbey and where they were going to be, or is it due all post-crime of possibly that alibis and things of that nature? And in the worst case scenario, are there other offenders out there that currently haven't been charged, that they played some part in these homicides, either by being on the trail or being at another location, and which is worst case scenario. And we really don't know that. And that's one of the reasons I get a lot of emails and things, and what are my thoughts about that. And that's what we're going to cover tonight. And Ruckus is in the house. Morning all. Why ain't you at the Waffle House, Ruckus? Why ain't you at the Waffle House? That's what we need to know. But anyway, everybody knows Richard Allen and BG. And there's still people out there debate that is if this is BG. We have to take the words of what Richard Allen saying, that he was on that bridge that day on that first platform, as he reported to a law enforcement officer, conservative officer, conservationist officer that he met with. That he was on that first platform, and we know he was on the trails that day for the fact that the interactions with the witnesses, which they corroborate his story versus their story, they seeing each other. And then we have a witness that says that he was on the first platform, or an individual dressed in the same manner as him was on that bridge on the day. And then, of course, he says he was on the bridge, but he says he didn't see Libby or Abby or the witness that saw him on the first platform, which is that just part of his cover story, that if I admit that I saw him, then I admit that I committed the homicides. He's painted himself into a corner, in my opinion, and but we still don't know, is he by himself or others? And did he act on only information that he had gathered by himself, or was there information shared with him? And that's a hard question to answer. If he was targeting the girls, because he could have absolutely catfished them on his own. But when we look at the total picture of other coincidences and things and searches and comments made and interviews of where there's other information about individuals saying that I was supposed to meet them, or I spoke to them that morning, and if the searches of a service station that was within 2 miles, if those are all coincidences, they're huge coincidences of other involvement, because that's huge. And I made a comparison between all the similarities or commonalities of, is this something that could be absolutely a coincidence that Keegan Klein would look up all that information and look up the story of how long does DNA last on a victim? I've been in the field of investigating homicides. I took a lot of training regarding homicides, profiling of these type of personalities, and just worked cases over the years. And even when I was in, looking up and trying to research information about certain things that you see at the crime scene, I've never looked up how long does DNA last on a body. So when I see those things, they strike me as strange. All right, let's go and see who else has joined us here. Let's see here. Try to get back in here, get this Google machine working. All right. Hash browns. Julian, good to see you. All right. Robin, good to see you. Hello, D. Good to see you. And of course, Ruckus says hello. Dave says, I heard the stomach reference thing again in regards to Delphi. Do you think it's possible it's one of the signatures? It depends if there is actually something about that. Is there some type of injury or some type of transfers or markings? There's a lot of different things that can be considered signatures, and I don't know. From the staging on, I have no idea. But if it If it exists, then absolutely it's part of the signatures. If it doesn't exist, then of course, no. Has there been any news about the police presence at a resident in Delphi last week? No, but I looked at and I saw an article or two on it, and it was handled by the state police, which indicates to me that if it's handled by the state police and not local, then it's something that a state investigation that is going on that would probably be outside the jurisdiction of a city. If that resident is located inside a city and the city had no part in the execution of, then it means it's outside jurisdiction, such as the county and or additional counties. So, uh, and it's being handled by solely or more than likely either a task force comprising of several different jurisdictions inside the state or even federal, and they will let the whatever type of organized tactical team to go in and execute those warrants. So, but yeah, I have seen that. Deanna Audio Bird, good to have you here tonight. There's Betsy, Olivia. Trying to keep up so I don't get so many things in here. And SP74, there are just so many Klein-related coincidences. I'm telling you, like I said, I've never looked that up, and um, uh, that type of information, and it's not anything that I would expect anyone, especially of his what he normally looked up. If you go back and see what his normal activity of looking up CSAM, then all of a sudden we just in the middle of looking up CSAM or looking up homicides, and we go to how long does DNA last? I would like to see how many other cases and how many other times that in his while he was doing the CSAM things that he did look up things of a scientific nature. I think the count would be relatively low, and so I believe that for that there is some type of involvement. All right, let's go on down in here. And of course, we have a Richard Allen. He did call LE and he met with LE and answered canvassing questions. And as I was speaking on Sleuth's channel earlier, why would an individual do such a thing? And I believe it's out of fear of several reasons that he was going to be discovered, either through the cell phone towers because he knew he had a cell phone there, and also that he saw people in that community that he knew that either they already recognized him or they would recognize him at some point, and to absolutely get the word and knock that storyline out before he's cornered, you might as well just give up the ghost and call it in and say, hey, I was there that day, didn't see anything. And so that's me. If you get a report of anyone being on the trails or near the bridge that day, that's me. And did it work? Evidently, it worked for about 6 years until we know with the recent probable cause affidavits of what went on. Oh, somebody got a gifted membership. Thank you. Appreciate that. Whoever out there gave some a membership. And also, I see that Jay, it might be Jill, was $10. Thank you. Is this the blue light working? Yeah, it is. I miss Mrs. Steve when she's up the stairs asleep. Olivia too says, my question, anyone, is Richard Allen the one that committed the homicides? I believe so. There were so many opportunities with the offenders that who would have been a better an easier person to convict than Kegan Kline. You have someone that on his phone absolutely has all those counts of 30 charges of child exploitation, who could so easily be a villain in the eyes of any jurors that are seated there with him sitting at a defense table. That if they were looking for someone to easily pin it on, this individual right here who created these false accounts that had contact with Libby and Abby in the transcripts morning of, that if you wanted to have someone to be put on the gallows quickly and easily, this is the individual. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And for them to skip over him means a lot. And for them to eventually put their focus on Richard Allen to me means a lot. But that's just my opinion. Betsy, that's very kind of you that you invited some Lori Daybell trial watchers live chat over. Thank you. Um, it's I absolutely wish that trial was being televised because it's something that I think that the public should see on all trials. For whatever reason, they don't, and I know it's left up to the courts, but it's so valuable that people are able to see it and watch it and learn from it, and so that they can be able to explain to their children and things and the dangers of people out there, not just with the Delphi case but also all predators out there. It's just absolutely amazing how much evil lives with us. Yes, I am glad that Deanna, the audio bird, she's new. Glad you're here. Enjoy your time here. Absolutely. If you have a question, and hopefully I can see it. I have problems with this type of machine sometimes, but we get it worked out. Dave says lone wolf. I would more than likely agree with you, but lone wolf as far as the single act of committing the homicide, but and but there is a reason, and I don't understand it. And I always one of the things that I always speculated about, that he told them to go down the hill, and where was he going to take them? Because there's nothing down that hill other than that driveway. And of course, we have people at a house. Did he know it was vacant? Was he going to take them to a building, or was someone waiting down at the foot of the hill? And I don't know. And of course, the prosecutor and the didn't help matters when he said that there's maybe other actors and didn't give us a timeline of it. Jocelyn says, in my opinion, I believe they were catfished at that location. Unsure if it's just him or other party involved. I believe he acted alone at the scene. Exact. I do believe so. Or if there were others there, they didn't know that this was going to occur, and in this manner. But it's just messed up. Triple S, good to see you. And Dave, that is one of the things that really messes me up. And one of the things I've speculated is that I don't think KK was at the scene, and if he did have an involvement of anywhere at the scene, I think it could have possibly been at the down the hill on that road, if he was there and he was involved. And I think that he's worried that if there was some type of confrontation, that would have been the time that he would have had contact, because Kegan Kline ain't going to chase nobody down. You know, even in his healthiest days of anything I've seen of him, He's not going to chase anybody down, especially Libby and Abby, who were athletic. Mm, Thomas Frost's channel has good content. I haven't seen his channel yet, but thank you for the information. There's Jill. Thank you. Appreciate that. We're going to use that probably in about 2 weeks. All right, Jinx Nightbot's here. I love Nightbot. And Dave said that he doesn't think that clients are involved. Okay, understandable. Deanna says she had to go record something for the hubby. Excellent. Mrs. Steve does that for me. And yes, I did give Deanna Audiobird a shout out. Absolutely. Glad you're here. True crime. Why do you think Richard Allen went through with the crime given that he knew he was seen? I think that whenever these criminals, when they're thinking and they're acting upon their fantasies, I mean, we're not dealing with individuals in their right state of mind, if they ever were in the right state of mind. You're dealing with a psychopath that might be living out a fantasy. And they're the smartest person on the planet. And everybody they meet, and they believe that through their life that they've lived, they've been able to trick so many people and that they can live it out to the end. And generally, that narcissistic behavior is what eventually leads to their demise and being caught. And but they still have to do certain things that makes sense to them that, oh, I've committed the perfect crime. I committed a crime. Now I've contacted law enforcement. I've told them I was there, that I'm a witness and I didn't see anything. And in their mind, it's a perfect story. And we see where that's gotten us today, and where it's going to go, because he left a bullet at the scene. and that is poetic justice, that might be the one thing that he could have gotten away with a lot of things other than saying I'm on the bridge, and then in his second interview making the statements, I'm dressed up like BG. And so it's I think he was seen, and he just had to take those steps. Peter Mac, good to see you. And let's see what else we got on here. And some of the interesting things about, that was in the transcript, that this possible collaborator of what part he played in this crime, that, when he was contacted, he said, well, I was supposed to meet up with them and didn't, and asked what happened. And if this is true, it's been argued, and there's debate out there that did this actually occur or not. And it was brought up in the law enforcement interview. And so, was it a ploy used by law enforcement? I don't think so. Generally, even when law enforcement does ploys and things, it's based upon some type of truth. These interviews are goal oriented, and but they'll go in there and take little pieces, and law enforcement may stretch that piece of information and put it out there. And under these stressful situations, these people in being interviewed may not pick up on it. But let me see what I got. I have to blow things up so big now. And and like I said, where he says here that I was supposed to, and they never showed up. Absolutely amazing that he would admit to this, that he had spoken to them prior to, and then they didn't show up. And that's huge. Will he be brought into court? I think he would be brought into court regardless. It's just who will bring him into court, because the defense will use this information such like this as my client didn't do it. It was him and his gang, because he was speaking about other people having some type of encounter with the girls. And so there's a lot to look at here. So that even if the prosecution can't get him in there, they may have some hearings and try to bring in these other offenders or possible suspects. Um, Let me get caught back up here, guys. All right, I get in here. Did Rich Allen come forward before or after the picture of BG were revealed? I think that picture was revealed relatively quick, but I think he actually showed up prior to, if I'm not mistaken, because or I seem to remember that they credited him within the first day or two of contacting that conservation officer. So don't that would be before the pictures, but the pictures came pretty quickly also. Do they think there was more than one person? A lot of people are speculating for the fact of what the prosecution said, that there's other actors, and they've always, Doug Carter said it. The um, About that there's other tentacles, and which gives me a headache. Absolutely gives me a headache. Oh, I hadn't heard about that today, about the Letitia Stalk phone call. I've got to go check on that. Deanna says, always here to help if needed. Audio and cheesy jokes. Hi, Steve. Hopefully, no trolls. Not. I don't have a problem with people coming in and talking and discussing, but there's nothing that can ever good come from the setup of, well, just how well educated are you? Uh, Anything that comes after that is an insult, or just asking about people's educations. There's nothing that will ever come good from anything that follows up about here. Hold my beer, and we know where all that goes to. Karen says hi to Niles. Absolutely. Um, Betsy says, True Crime Web, could you give Brandy Churchwell a shout out, since I gave you a shout out over there? She's got 3.1 and is trying to grow like you. Absolutely. I don't know Brandy, but I will go check her channel out. Absolutely. No problem. Um, but now, if you set me up, Betsy, I'm going to come get you. But I don't know anything about her, but absolutely go check her channel out, and y'all report back to me. Is that something that Betsy should be? Because if we get some bad reviews there, Betsy, oh, I believe that Betsy wouldn't um, uh, would lead me down the wrong trail. Do not believe that was possible. Dave said he doesn't believe that girls went to the trail that day to meet AS. And there's another story about another youth that said that and it's rumor. I have no knowledge of it being actual, but it's so strange that there's an individual within that age group that told them, said, don't go meet him. And if that is true, then there is some issue that they were going to meet somebody. And what communications was that? And but and like I said, that's just rumor. I don't know. Deanne says, sorry for the sidebar, Steve. I'll get back on track. Don't worry about it. Like I said, we'll wind up in the Waffle House somewhere here in a little bit. And this is a good point, Tracy. Do you think it might have been unplanned, but one of them took his picture, or started that video for some reason? Was it something that happened prior, just minutes before, on the trail? Was there something that he said? Was there some maneuver that he did that frightened him and caused her to take that infamous video that will absolutely play a huge part in this trial? And Josh, I can understand your feelings that if there's no further evidence, but looking up that DNA. SP74. Steve, do you think Crossing Creek was ever part of the plan? No. I think that that was fight or flight, and that that was an opportunity they thought that they might be able to get away, and of course it led to the worst place that you could ever cross. And having gone there and stood there and looked up at those embankments, that even when you get out of the creek and you're looking at those, I mean, they're not absolutely vertical, but they're hard to navigate. And I could see them being trapped there. Let's see here. Dan, I think Steve misunderstood my request to shout out Brandy's channel. Would y'all asking a little bit? No, I think I shouted out. I don't know. Um, but yeah, y'all can go check it. And if anything is good, because I don't know if she's live right now or not. And this is something, and I don't know what all the social media presence was and what accesses that he was doing with this Anthony Shot account and who had access to it through those whatever drop boxes and other methods that they used, who all would have access to that. And, but it is interesting. Betsy is Nightbot got you cornered. I hate that. K McBee, glad you're back to covering Delphi. Yeah, I'll be looking at it, and hopefully, if it's televised, I'll probably do some live shows if it's televised during the day. I think, I don't know what I can bring to the table, but we'll try. Oh, we have Betsy 999. She's a Georgia girl. If you need a timeline or a chart of a crime, she's got you. Okay, thank you. Georgia girl. Like, I married a Georgia girl. Absolutely. Met her about 34 years ago. Let's see here. Yes, and Dave, that is the prosecutor that they didn't want to release the affidavit because they didn't want to tip off other actors. They give me a headache, I swear. And another possible about uh, if his substance abuse would impair his self restraint in an impulse situation. There has to be some strong impulses, and of course, I know that drugs and alcohol do play a part in some of those impulses because you see a lot of them that have those uh, issues and those addictions, and it could absolutely be a part of it. Man, you and I both really would like to see how those interrogation videos went. Um, I'm with you. If KK was the other actor and gave law enforcement info, how would that tip him off? Um, there may be more actors than just these two, um, because we know that there's another person that's referred to in the transcript by law enforcement. They want to know who else is activating those accounts. And then there's references made to father figures or older individuals, my dad, and those. Um, I mean, there's more than one person that could be tipped off. Molly, good to see you. Oh no, Deanne, don't ever apologize about any whatever happens in chat, and I see it on the morning watch. I go from here to there. Now, whenever we're talking about the my shows that are 8 o'clock, they're pretty well structured, and we stick with them pretty much. And this is a fine example of staying on track. Steve, don't forget to stop by Waffle House and get some honey for the bears when you go on the trip. If I get honey for the bears, it's because when a bear shows up, I'm throwing the honey on Chris, and, and I'm gonna go the opposite direction. And Nan R says that the two sketches are so different. And as Carter said, and he very simply said, put the two sketches together, then throw them away, and then you'll have BG, which eerily actually came to pass. That it was pretty close. And I wish they had done that earlier. Um, Steve, I heard that there were more communications between KK and uh, I guess that L is Logan, maybe. I don't know. Or Libby. Oh, okay. L could either be Libby um, and, um, and I take it you probably do mean Libby. Is that rumor or is there LE corroboration? Um, no, I don't know of anyone, or I don't know of anything that has been released by law enforcement that corroborates anything other than what's in the probable cause affidavits. I agree with you about the athleticism assessment, Steve. Yeah, this individual here, Kagan Klein, ain't going to chase nobody down. Gosh, scatter, smothered, and covered. Yeah, speaking my second language. We speak Georgia and Waffle House here. Betsy says she's a Georgia girl. If you need a timeline, she's got you. Thank you. Appreciate that. Kowalski said, wasn't there a clip when the video started when the girl says something to the effect of, there's the man of the hour? I don't know of what you speak. And Ruckus, absolutely correct here. Libby taking that video as suspect. Why did she take it? What caused her to think it was necessary? I've always thought that they saw possibly the firearm, and I believe that law enforcement did some issues with that. Um, and um, that's my personal thoughts of. But it could have been something as simple that they saw him on the trail earlier and had a bad feeling about him, and was Libby going to take that image and eventually, when she gets home, to show family members that, hey, this individual's on the trail, um, and there's something suspicious or off about him. Just don't know. Yes, he has changed his status, and um, I don't know what the sentencing. I don't think he's been sentenced. If anyone knows if he has been sentenced or when that date is, let me know. Yes, Olivia. I don't think crossing that creek uh, in uh, in February is any part of anyone's plan. Steve, having been there, where do you think the crime scene would have been if no fight? I think going down the hill to a road, um, and it's something that haunts me. I have no proof of it, but it's something that haunts me that makes me think that where he parked, there's two possibilities of why he parked off site and not even at the parking area that is normally associated with the bridge. That I'm going to go there and find a victim with a vehicle at uh, the Myers parking area, and possibly abduct them and take a vehicle. Or there's a vehicle at the bottom of the bridge, and he wanted that if this was part of the catfishing and he was going to abduct someone at the end of the bridge, that there's a vehicle waiting there. Um, and I have no evidence of that at all. Um, I'm going more along the path that um, if he was catfishing and was waiting on Libby and Abby, and Libby and Abby were late, and he saw this fourth witness that puts him on that first platform, the lady that had parked at Mears, that he had focused on her, and then for some reason he decides not to focus on her, but turns his attention to Libby and Abby, and then follows them across the bridge. I, that's the most likely scenario that I have in my mind. Don't mean I'm right, but that's what I have in my mind. And yeah, there's always been issues about if it was or was not. Yeah, we may, like I said, if they bring it and they put it out there, I probably will do a live on during the trial on that. Uh, Deanna, I am a Georgia boy. I understand that you are a Georgia girl. But no, I'm from Georgia. A lot of people get me messed up with Australian. Ruckus does all the time. He thinks that I'm from Outback. Ruckus, I get him messed up being Canadian, Irish Canadian. Kowalski said a Georgia girl broke my heart in college. Um, and Lala, absolutely. After years of speculating that BG was some kind of mastermind criminal, it's sobering to learn that he's just a sniveling little coward in a food stained T-shirt. In my opinion, RA is too mentally weak. But we see that often. With Ted Bundy, um, the only one that really never had a breakdown is probably one of the most dangerous individuals that ever walked this planet is BTK. Because even when he's standing there in front of the judge and talking matter of factly and about how he would have multiple targets, absolutely chilling. But you do see people that do have moments of breakdown. Ted Bundy, and of course, Richard Allen. Is it planned or not? We'll wait and see. And Dave, I agree with you that if she had went out on the bridge, I think she would have been a part of it with others, possibly. And and I think that if Libby and Abby hadn't have shown up when they did, I think she would have been a victim also. Man, you are. There's no bigger creep in the world, and I have absolutely no use for this human being named Kagan Klein. Absolutely no use for him whatsoever. I'm not doing so bad tonight. I'm only 8 minutes behind. And Chopper Harris says, just imagine Richard Allen had nothing to do with the shots account and Kagan Klein. He was just there that day and committed this evil act. That's why it took so long for an arrest. You may be absolutely 100% correct. Look who's in the house. L.A. Wilkes. Good to see you. Glad you're here. And if y'all hadn't checked him out, he's a little bit, his use of the King's language is a little bit spicier than mine, but absolutely brilliant. And I enjoy watching his shows. Just curious, was this bridge structurally sound? And if you're a parent, would you let your girls go along? I think parents and girls and boys do a lot of things that the parents don't know. But yes, the I'm sure all the stonework and all the iron is absolutely sound. The When I was out there on the bridge and everything, Mrs. Steve, of course, pitching a fit that I'm too old to be on the bridge now. But even if you fell through one of the ties, there's a lot of ironwork under it, so you wouldn't go far. It might skin you up if you hit some of the ironwork, but you wouldn't fall far. And then, of course, I say that, and I would bounce off every one of them. Casey says, no more talk of waffles. That had their strawberry crepes. Carol Stonehope's talking about motorcycle stuff or gangs. Interesting. I hadn't seen that. And there's a lot of truth in this, Jill. Second language, Georgia and Waffle House. When you sit there and you listen to them talk to the cook, uh, I mean, what language is that? I, I sat there and I ordered different things so I can try to learn new words, and I just can't. I can't break their code. Olivia says that the bridge wasn't stable. No, I mean they did creak and they were spongy, but like I said, even if you fell through that first layer, the metal should catch you. So, Mr. Steve, what's your assessment at this point, lone wolf or pack? I think the crime was committed by him solely. But I do think that there was someone that was knowledgeable, um, absolutely post crime, um, and and that, and if I had to think of who had knowledge of it post crime, it's going to be Kegan Klein, um, for the fact of his behavior and things he looked up and denying and trying to um, separate himself from it. But post crime, I think that Kagan knowed, but that's just my opinion. But I think that as far as the homicides, they've got the one individual that was on site. And LA and Ruckus are going at it now. Oh, me. Absolutely. We'll catch up on this case. It is absolutely haunting that two children can't enjoy, um, and not only just two children, but all the potential victims that were on that trail that day. And why were these two picked? Yeah, let's throw a shrimp on the Waffle House meat. Yeah, I'm almost to 10K. It is. I never expected, because when I first started my channel, I looked it up. Now I think the stats on YouTube was like 22 months to get to 1,000, and I was able to do that relatively quickly. And um, for I'm absolutely in awe of where I'm currently at. I just don't believe this was his first time his age. You just don't wake up one day and decide to do something like that. I absolutely agree with you. Now, were his other crimes as severe? There is potential there, yes. Um, but he does have other crimes. I have utmost absolute confidence that there will be, um, now if can they ever prove what those crimes were? I don't know, but yes, I agree with you. He just didn't wake up. Miranda Lee, hey pigeon. Diane, it's good to see you. I hate that you're leaving tonight or going to sleep. No, I hadn't watched her on any of the channels, and I can't imagine the scar um, that is on her life that she's going to have to live with, and it will forever be there because of who her father is. That has to be so messed up. The winch. Did you sleuths know there was actually two Ted Bundys? That can be in, taken in several ways. I because there was two Ted Bundys. I mean, he had his normal life that he led um, for the general public and people he went to school with and family and girlfriends, and then he had his second life of of another Ted Bundy. But there may be another serial offender named Ted Bundy too. Um, I'm looking forward to see which way you're going with that. He sat in his car for a considerable time before leaving for the bridge. I'm pretty sure he went there for the girls. It just wasn't a crime opportunity. Possible. Well, that dude definitely wraps his pizza around chicken wings. Y'all know the type. Who 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 comes up with his pizza around chicken wings? Y'all know the type. L.A. Oh, yep. Kegan is a POS. Absolutely. Yeah. Uh, they do have a different take on how they uh, use the King's language. Yeah. Dave, you and Mrs. Steve, y'all are of the same mindset of trying to torment me with spiders. Let's see what we got here. And yes, if you had vertigo or something and you was on the bridge, yeah, you could go off the sides. Not now. The improvements they made to the bridge is absolutely. Um, is it set up for now for someone to go out there and see that first platform? That is more than likely what they were prepping that bridge for. And Lisa, this is very possible. A lone wolf that left the pack. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Let's see here. And I'm glad you're enjoying it here. Um, uh, it's 1 a.m. I'm engaged in this. Absolutely. This is the shift that I'm, well, I have always worked morning watch, even before I was in law enforcement. I just like working the cooler times in the Georgia because in the summertime, Georgia is absolutely miserable during the day. Um, and then as I worked my career in law enforcement, the boss I had, his way of punishing people was to put them on um, morning watch, third shift. Which every time I got put on first shift or second shift, sometimes during a short tenure, I would do something and I'd get put back on third shift. which is I never had a problem with. So I spent a lot of my career in these late morning or early morning hours. Um, did you get my email about Bruce's Legacy, the nonprofit? Yes, I did. Um, I can tell you one of the things that happens sometimes that whenever I get some of my emails, and I can go up there or or check in here, that one of the things I do is that I'll write a real nice um, draft thanking you for sharing the link, and then I forget to hit the send button. So I will check my email and see if that's what happened. But no, I did read that, and I thought I sent you back. Thank you for the link, and because I know in it I mentioned about in my career I recovered numerous bodies from different types of water conditions, and in my career, and so I know it's there. Let me go over there and see if it's there. Um, no, it might be in spam or something, but it looks. I'll have to check and see if I sent it, but it's not in my drafts. But I know I wrote it because I mentioned about my recovery of victims. No, I didn't know that there was actually another one, a serial offender that was named Ted Bundy. Dave, nothing says breakfast like a good chair throwing fight. I've seen it. Misbehave, you're late. No, you're not. You're fine. Uncle, hey, Uncle Tom, good to see you. Glad you're here. Um, and if and that's one thing I appreciate about, and I know that some people, uh, if you watch L.A. and you watch Uncle Tom, um, their approach and how they interact is of far different structure than my shows, but the honesty and the brilliance of the topics that they discuss and fairness that they exhibit. That if you get through some of their colorful language, they are absolutely brilliant. And and um, and some people, it is hard to get through some of the of how they interact. But absolutely, give them a shot, give them a chance, and you'll see um, from their perspectives and what they bring to the table is something that is valuable. And Now, of course, I'm not as colorful in my language, especially with Mrs. Steve, as they are. But each person has to create content in a certain manner, and and they bring those points, and they talk in the way they do. But like I said, um, they cover some key issues that absolutely have to be dealt with, and I appreciate them for that. Stop following me. Is L.A. is Tom stalking you? Hey Steve, I told Jennifer we might have to do surveillance if she gets on another ladder. Man, that scared me so bad that when she fell, I heard about it. It was, you know, absolutely. All my mods play such a huge part in my channel that without them, Mrs. Steve and I wouldn't be here. Y'all get talking about those tarantula. All right, Ruckus, good night. Have a great night. Oh, Bell Senior, when I was younger, I would run across that bridge. Now I fall off first step on. You could trip on it because it's uneven. And like I said, there's some of those that were very spongy. Um, True Crime Web, is from previous mentioned channel too. All right. Um, and that's, and like I said, I appreciate everybody being here from whatever channel. Let me see, kind of get caught up. Before arresting, still a manager at Coffee House, owner made her make 40 pies. They were so good. Oh my goodness. Hello, Boston. Good to see you. What is your favorite Waffle House menu item other than coffee? You know, there's nothing on there. I've never had anything at Waffle House that I ever turned back. So anything on the menu, and I change. Sometimes I just get bacon and waffle, and sometimes I get the All Star. And I've got to get me a menu, and create a menu of for this channel. I went not long ago, and let me get it on there, and they gave me a cup at the Waffle House because I mentioned them that they were a main topic of my shows. True Crime Watch. So you are a night owl because you had to stand in the proverbial corner in law enforcement. Actually, one time there was a corner. It was during a huge snowstorm, and I think it, I was on my second or third vehicle that I had disabled during the snowstorm, and my boss created a corner and told me to stay there and stay out of the vehicles. So I've been in the proverbial corner. Uh, I heard he operated in Alaska. I'll look it up. I hadn't heard that. He's trying to say we curse too much. No, I mean, sure. I never, ever uh, um, will ever try to influence any channel how they create content and what their content is because it's your show. And absolutely, I agree and support ever how you wish to present. Um, and, but no, you don't curse too much. If that's what you want to do, oh, me. Waffle House egg scrambled, hash browns, cheese, mushrooms, onions, tomatoes, onions, um, and bacon. You doubled onions. No, Wilkes, you do you always. Never, whatever you want, you do you. The end of the audio bird. Cursive words are fun though at times. My grandmother, what she could, I mean, she'd make a sailor blush. I mean, she had a knack for it, being able to put them in a string of that when she got angry, and she was absolutely amazing. That you wouldn't think um, uh, that you're looking at this 90-something-year-old lady, um, and grass didn't grow where she spit. I mean, she was absolutely vicious. Oh goodness, she was so vicious. Curse words are a sign of intelligence. I don't cuss, so I guess. Oh, yes, went L.A. and Uncle Tom's, great people, just a different platform. Absolutely. Sean said that he's heading to Delphi on the 26th. Absolutely. Excellent. Dave, you are absolutely just about, if you come in with Mrs. Steve, yes, there are certain times that we don't mention anything but Georgia and UGA. And for those that don't know who UGA is, that's the University of Georgia's Bulldog. Oh, yeah, Robin, you're right. The Waffle House should sponsor me. Um, I'm gonna try to get with LA and try to get with Ruckus, and we're gonna do a Waffle House tour. Oh, um, that was Shoney's. I got the 14, but the now I have probably arrested 10 times that number out of Waffle Houses over an extended period of time of probably a year or two. It would take me to get 100 to get over 100 people, but I've arrested a lot of people at Waffle Houses. I'd go eat and drink my coffee and go up, and after I pay my bill, walk over and handcuff somebody and just take them on to jail because you knew you were going to have to take them home soon, take them to jail just as soon as they got home. Might as well arrest them for what they were doing at the Waffle House versus the potential of what they were going to do when they got home. Yes, I still have those side by sides, and I will create another show. Yes, I see you. Now, it doesn't mean that you weren't. Sometimes the Nightbot or YouTube will say that um, if something is said, they'll throw you in whatever little old YouTube jail or what they got. Everyone needs to let loose with a colorful. Yes. So you like the You Do You True Crime Web special? I'm telling you, you can ask my brothers and sisters. I mean, absolutely. She was a character. Um, and she was a big woman. Probably right, 3 or 4 of her sisters lived. She was one of 13 children, and she was a middle child. And of course, she was born like 1903 or something. Um, and but came up hard. She was um, basically she married my grandfather, who was a sharecropper, and my dad, and they sharecropped, and but worked in the fields from morning to night, and came up hard. But absolutely, um, in her 90s, and like I said, she had at least 3 sisters that lived to be 100 to 105, and her grandmother um, was 108 or 109 when they found her deceased on the coal pile. They don't know what killed her, but they my dad used to cuss because he said, "I've never in my life seen 70-year-old people talking about let's go see grandmama." It aggravated him so bad. Let's go see grandma, because she, my uh, uh, grandmother's mother, uh, was 12 years old when she ran off with a school teacher. But now that was in the 1800s. Well, yeah, I don't know what's happening with your chat, but I can see you. I don't know if others can, but I can see you. Deanna, Audio Bird, dude, I am there for a Waffle House tour. I'm gonna check out your channel, Deanne, and appreciate you being here. Mr. Steve's chat spicy tonight. Oh yeah, it's always spicy when um you get Ruckus and LA in. You never had a waffle? Oh my goodness! I'll buy you a waffle if you ever come to one of our tours. Steve, as long as you're paying, I'm there. Oh. And Deanna, you're absolutely correct. It's bacon and eggs, and so uh, I've arrested so many in those houses. Oh man, um, and I've even arrested people that were still into butter knives. Yeah, true crime. We went to the Waffle House to sober up and run for you guys. Um, and I never had a problem with people that went there to get the coffee and get the food and to sober up. It wasn't those that bothered me. Those weren't the ones that. But one of these days when I retire from the YouTube world, I will have um, a going away confession of all my Waffle House encounters. Yes, Mac, a Pigeon Mac. I love Cracker Barrel also. Actually, my brother and I just went to Cracker Barrel last Sunday. It's Cracker Barrel is what was it that I read somewhere is that Cracker Barrel is for the people that don't know how to fight or something along those lines. Josh, my granny would show up with her two pit bulls at the local Waffle House. Like I told you, where else can you talk about true crime? And now we have digressed to a Waffle House. Oh, well, LA, you and I share something in common. Um, my grandfather was sharecropper, and of course, my dad would be also. But my grandfather discovered moonshining and went off to do that trade. And my father and my grandmother, they basically became migrant workers. They'd go from one county to the next, harvesting whatever was needing to be harvested at the time. Y'all are, y'all got to. My chat has absolutely derailed. Um, I want Waffle House now, but it's too dangerous this time of night by myself. And that's a sad state of affairs. Anytime that you can't go anywhere in this country to enjoy whatever you want in a restaurant is a sad state of affairs. And that's how come I like going to Waffle Houses. I fixed it. I'm from North Georgia. Absolutely. GP says I'm out. Have a great night. I'm glad you was here. Oh, okay. I thought you had a channel also, Audiobird. Now this is someone that has been to a Waffle House. They will spray. They will spray you with water. Your grandma's not going to be happy listening. You tell tales on her. Watch out for lightning. Oh no. Like I said, sh- uh, she was absolutely a amazing, tough woman. Um, and uh, and a lot of the reason I probably survived of some of my encounters was due to the genetics, um, the pain compliance and stuff. Because unfortunately, there's certain things about certain people have high pain tolerance. I'm one of them. My pain tolerance is off the chart, and which unfortunately is a bad thing because you can get hurt. And Mrs. Steve will tell you um, that sometimes, and I get hurt, and I don't know I'm hurt. And she starts coming around and says, "All right, what happened?" And I say, "I don't know." And they say, and she'll say, "Well, there's a blood trail through the house," and I don't even know it. So uh, we have to worry about things like that. Yeah, yeah, Dave, you got to watch me at the Shoney's. Huddle House, absolutely. I actually when I was in um, uh, Hampton, South Carolina, a couple 3 weeks ago. They don't have a Waffle House, but they did have a Huddle House. And uh, part as I was ordering, the waitress says, "How do you want your hash browns?" And I told her whatever scattered, covered, smothered chunk was, and she said, "Oh, okay, all the way." so uh, so I had to. Depend on the Huddle House. Yes, Betsy, you gotta want to shop to go to the, and Mrs. Steve, she'll buy Christmas at the, Cracker Barrel. Enter in the show. Golden Griddle. I don't know the Golden Griddle. When your dad was 13, went around country picking fruit and stuff. Um, a, a, it's not really a funny story, but it's a story that makes you think. Um, because my father would explain to me that when he was a child in the 30s and the 40s, and as they traveled through the country, that uh, what they ate was whatever they were harvesting. And so if they were harvesting beans, they ate beans. If it was watermelons, they ate watermelons. If it was corn, they ate corn. And I asked him, I said, "What did y'all eat when you was harvesting cotton?" He said, "Those were some hard times, lean times, whenever you was doing cotton." He had some good stories too of his law enforcement career. His law enforcement career was in a much uh, more dangerous time than mine. Gosh, Posh, we'll go to Waffle House and we'll enjoy it. Tracy says great grandmother would run liquor. Um, yeah, and I do this all the time. I do. It's absolutely amazing. Stop creating a crime scene with yourself, and that's a horror that if they ever luminol, or if I ever went up and luminoled my vehicles or luminol, well, y'all see what I do when I'm using this um, uh, uh, fake synthetic blood, but even the real blood. That if you processed my house, you would think that there was some type of serial offense uh, going on. We the people. Steve opinion on the muddy and bloody witness. The timing of that release of that information um, is 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 what we have to base upon. If she came early on and made that statement at a time that some of the information may have not been out there, um, and it's all about the timing. If it's way, way, way into the investigations, I give it a far less uh, value because the juries will give it a far less value also because you can argue that it's something um, that if she waited 2 or 3 years to report it, why would you do that if you knew there was a homicide a day or two before? But if she did it within just a day or two, then I give it more value. And I don't know exactly when she came forward. Uh, I know that answer is out there. I just don't know. You think your governor, Jimmy Carter, was a Waffle House kind of guy? Absolutely. If you live in Georgia, you're going to be a Waffle House. Lisa said, I played a pool tournament with broken arm. I've seen quite a few pool tournaments that ended with broken arms. Yes, and you're right. The people that lived during the depressions and things, absolutely brutal. Pigeon back. Ah, um, LA the other day, he was referencing me about being 172 years old. Ah, now you gotta be careful. If I'm 172, you're making Mrs. Steve, and gotta be careful with Mrs. Steve. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm buffering. It's getting that time of night, I guess. Let's see. Miranda Lee, what state's Waffle House should we all meet up at? As I travel, I'm about to head out to Texas um, in a couple, 3 weeks. So I'll be doing a tour from Georgia and running all the way to Texas. And if y'all are anywhere in that area of Dallas, Fort Worth, absolutely send me an email. If I get a chance, I'd love to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you. Um, and while I'm traveling on the road, I don't know what time I would be able to, but if you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area, absolutely, I'd sit down and drink a cup of coffee with you. Oh yes, yes, I love that movie. I work with people that pretty much could um, quote that movie line for line. Well, I hate that you have no quality food services there. Because you can't you gotta have standards, and the Waffle House has standards. All right, and and you're yes, and we're from a absolutely a different generation of people, and and you're right that their childhood and things that happened to them is absolutely so much different than what my childhood was. The Waffle House in Plano is where you had a birthday celebration. Excellent. That's where my father took me for my night of graduation. When I graduated out of high school, he took me to the Waffle House um, and asked me what I was going to do. All righty. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and we did have at least a good solid hour of talking about Richard Allen, and I'm looking forward to how the defense is going to approach it. Is he lone wolf, or is he? Are they going to be blaming these other people and trying to spread the doubt? And they will, because we got Logan and we've got Kagan. But anyway, I appreciate everybody being here, and if y'all get a chance, check out Ruckus, check out these other channels that were in here tonight, and absolutely support them, and because we all need to work together for one common cause, and to get justice for these victims. But y'all stay safe out there, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye bye.